Hello, how are you? Let's get right to making this little miniature pumpkin. Isn't it adorable? I'll show you exactly what you need to have. You need to gather up yarn. I am using Mandala Sparkle. You can use any of the Mandala 3-weights, and I always clip the colors right and roll them up into balls because some will be leaf colors, some will be pumpkin colors, and I'm almost out of the orange. You will also want it possibly, if you want a little stem, like what is on this little pumpkin, you may want some gold metallic trim. Now it's the gold metallic trim that I am using to make I use to make the earrings. That will be another video. I also used 1/8 inch metallic ribbon. But to make the pumpkin, you're going to need a yarn needle. A metal one works best. You can use plastic. And an E 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. So let's get started making these adorable little pumpkins so that you can make some earrings. Don't the blue ones look good with the denim? And so maybe you could make a keychain. Maybe you could make a lot of things with these miniature pumpkins. I know you're going to want to make some. Let's get started. Two things that I forgot to mention that you will need is a stitch marker, and I'm going to use a bobby pin and a little bit of polyfill. I've switched to a Susan Bates D crochet hook. It is 3.25 millimeters. I was using a boy and it just did not work as well. You can use a D or an E. I'm chaining 3 and joining in a ring. So chain 3, join in a ring with a slip stitch, chain 1 and 7 single crochets in the ring. There's 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we're going to begin the second round without a join at the end of the first round. We are just going to begin single crocheting in the first stitch of round 1. So round 2 starts with 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and I will put a marker in that first stitch just so I know where round 2 started. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch and in each stitch around. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, get that out of the way, and my yarn tail's in the way, and 14. There we go. We have 14 single crochets in round 2. Now let's go ahead and pull on this yarn tail. We crocheted over top of that yarn tail, give it a pull, and it closes up that hole. All right, we're going to move the marker, but we know where this first stitch is. All right, so place 1 single crochet in that first stitch of round 2 to begin round 3, then place a marker in that first stitch. That's round 3. Now it's 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So round 3, when you are finished, will have 14 stitches. Round 2 had 14 stitches. Round 3 will have 14 stitches. Now these pumpkins are just lovely. They are so easy and quick to make. You can use them to decorate your home, or to make earrings, to make a keychain, or just a little charm to hang from your lanyard or from the children's backpack. So there's 1 stitch in each stitch around. That's 14. Now we're going to begin round 4. That was round 3. So we're removing the marker to begin round 4. And round 4 is just like round 3. It is 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Now when I get to the end of the round, we are going to begin decreasing. And I think you are going to like this new decrease method that I have learned. It is called the invisible decrease. I think you're going to like it. It's a little slower, but it creates a beautiful effect. When you crochet 2 stitches together, you end up sometimes with a little bit of a gap. And this eliminates that gap, and I think you're going to like it very much. All right, we're getting to the end. Right here is the first stitch, so we have 2 more stitches to go. Let's put a single crochet in these stitches. Now, sometimes a beginner, when this work starts to roll up on itself, will think that this is the right side, and they will just continue to let the product roll. But that is not the right side. You need to roll it back out. This is the right side of your work. Okay, we're at the end of the round, and now it is time to start the decreases. So here we go. Remove that marker and try to remember to put that back in. I always forget. But here's how you make the invisible decrease. So you put your hook under the first loop. Do not draw up a loop. Twirl back and go under the first loop of the second stitch. Yarn over and pull through both, and then yarn over and pull through both loops to make a single crochet. So let's do that in the next 2 stitches. So that was a decrease, an invisible decrease. You put your hook under the first loop, twirl back around, hook under the second loop, yarn over, pull through both loops there, and you have 2 loops, and then just make a single crochet. Let me put a marker in this stitch right here before I forget. All right. Under the outside loop, under the next first loop or outside loop, yarn over, pull through, and you have 2 on the hook, yarn over, make a single crochet. Insert hook under the first loop, insert hook under the second loop, yarn over, single crochet. Insert hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, insert hook, pull a loop through, yarn over, make a single crochet. Yarn under the first, there you go. Pull up and a single crochet. I'm not sure if I missed a loop, which I may very well have, but I moved the marker so that I'm going to go under and under, under this loop and under this loop and make a single crochet, and then we are done with this for now. Now it is time to stuff this little bitty pumpkin. It is time to stuff him. So I'm going to pull up the loop very long. I'm going to cut a long tail, and I'm going to stuff my little guy right now. So you don't need much stuffing, probably about this much, a little bit of fluff. We might not even need that much. So let's open the hole a little and just start pushing the stuffing down in. You can use yarn scraps if you would like, although I think it would be harder. I don't think I need all of that stuffing. Let me pull that out so I can figure out what is happening with my pumpkin. All right, maybe I can get a little bit more in there. Okay, now that I have him stuffed, let's close down that loop around our needle, our crochet hook, not our needle, our crochet. Let's close that loop down around our crochet hook. And we're just going to start closing the hole. First, I'm going to slip stitch like 2 stitches away. Just give it a good slip stitch. Tighten things down, that closes the hole. Now let's just go directly across and slip stitch. Let's look at our hole, maybe and slip stitch right here and pull all the way through. I think that looks really good. All right, now let's thread the needle with our yarn. And how I do that is I twist it really tight and then squeeze it and then push the eye of the needle down over top, and it usually comes right through, no problem. All right, now I'm going to go, I see this one little loop that is kind of out by itself, so I'm going to put my needle and push it over to the center and then come out the center of the pumpkin and give it a pull. Now I'm going to hold on to the yarn kind of tight right there and then go down through the center again and out the bottom. Kind of let it go, kind of shape it, and I made my first dent. Now that was 6 o'clock. Now I'm going to go 12 o'clock and make my first dent. So I'm going to put my finger on it right here. Let go of it and go down through the center. You'll get, so you just, the more you do, you don't even really have to go to the back and look. You'll be able to tell that you've gone down through the center. There we go. Now we have a half of a dented pumpkin. So we're going to turn it again and go 12 o'clock to the center of the clock. Go down through the center. Give it a tug. Give it a tug. Now 12 o'clock again. Directly opposite the other dent. And we have what looks like a 4-leaf clover. I'm going to go ahead and put a dent right here. There we go. And a dent. I may not want to dent I'm going to dent just these 2. You don't have to have 8 dents, but you can if you choose. I could probably stop there, but I think I could probably stop there, but I think I'm going to go ahead and dent this. Okay. Kind of shape, that's the bottom. This is the top. Remember, the top has a divot. It looks like a pumpkin to me. And give it a pull. Now we're going to find one of the yarn strands. There's one. I'm going to work my needle down through there and just give that one pull for right now. And then I'm going to go under that yarn strand again and make a knot. So I'll go over around my yarn needle once and then And then I've just made a nice knot. Now I'm going to go put my needle in and go through the side. Give it a real good tug and pull and clip it off. All right, one other thing I mentioned to you that I did not mention to you that we will need is a glue gun. Before we use the glue gun though, we need to make a leaf. And I'm using green, so I'm going to use a bit of the blue yarn. And how we make the leaf for the pumpkin is chain 3 and join with a slip stitch into the first chain. So 1, 2, 3, and join. With a slip stitch. Now we're going to go ahead and chain 1, clip that off with scissors, and go ahead and pull through and pull tight. Then bring down the other waist tail and pull it down and pull it tight. And then just give everything a really good tug. See, that looks like a little leaf. Now we grab right where the knot is and then clip off those yarn tails. But now don't worry. I'm going to do something with these yarn tails. So grab them and then grab your leaf, and those yarn tails are hanging out right there. And you take your glue gun, because if it's hot, it usually has a little bit of glue on it. And you're going to kind of solidify and bring those together with some glue. All right, usually doesn't take that long, but it sure did that time. I apologize. Now put a tiny dollop of glue off to one side, not down in the very center, not in the center, just the tiniest dollop right there. All right, that's a tiny dollop. Now stick this end right down in there and use the end of your crochet hook to push that little leaf end, to push the little leaf end down in to the divot, but you're keeping it to the side. There we go. That looks cute. This is really cute. Now your pumpkin needs a stem. So use some of this wired trim, or you can use twine, whatever you choose. It doesn't matter. Cut off about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Fold it in half. And pinch it. And then use your glue, and then now let it open up just a little bit. Put some glue in there. And now put some glue down there in the pumpkin. Whoops, trying to do this all at once to make it quick. My apologies. Now shove this down in there. We'll get rid of the glue strings here in a little bit. Shove that down in there and keep it in place until it's nice and seated. And when you're done, you'll have a little pumpkin stem. I need to hold that a little longer. But when you're done, you can use that little stem to run a little charm holder through or keychain holder through. And if you choose to make earrings, just do not make the stem, just make the earrings like this. I'll have a video on how to make these earrings at another time. Well, it was really good to have you on my side of the mountain. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. I do love making pumpkins. I like the idea that you can make earrings and make these little tiny bows. I'll do a video for this later, and I hope you'll like and subscribe. Tell your friends about my channel. It was really good to have you on my side of the mountain. Bye.